Alex, the president scheduled to hold his first press conference in 80 days. This will happen later this afternoon.
This while he's having his lowest approval rating. Also 28 Democrats leaving his party, or at least retiring from Congress, I should say. And COVID cases and deaths skyrocketing after he promised to shut down the virus. Our panelists are here to weigh in. We're joined by Turning Point USA contributor Isabel Brown. Also with us, tax attorney Rebecca Walser and Republican strategist and Bogle Group principal Matt Keelan. Panelists, great to see you here today. Isabel, here's just some insight for you. The president has held fewer news conferences than any of his 5 immediate predecessors at the same point in their presidencies. He's also participated in fewer than any of his recent predecessors' interviews with some news organizations as well. His last one was October 31st in Rome for the G20 summit. What do you think we're going to hear from the president today?
I doubt very much, Emma, and it's also important to note that when those press conferences do happen, it happens with predetermined questions and approved conversations from whoever they might be running the scenes there at the White House. Interestingly, the Biden administration has yet really to accomplish anything of substance beyond undoing everything the Trump administration has done previously. That seems to be their MO throughout this entire first year, and yet they're taking credit on COVID and the economy.
Yeah, and I'll go to Matt on this next one. I mean, what if you did have free reign in questioning, what would it be? Would it be foreign relations with what's happening? I mean, just recently, there was a warning put in place by the United States to Ukraine about a potential invasion of Russia. Do you talk about how COVID was handled or how you missed 2 variants, Delta and Omicron, and we're behind the 8 ball on both of these things? Do you mention the border crisis, Afghanistan, inflation, etc.?
Sean, you may remember I've been saying this for the last several weeks that if I were advising Joe Biden, which I'm not, and I doubt they would listen to me, I would have him pivot to the middle and start saying, look, the first year we tried something, it hasn't worked. We're going to sit down with Senator Manchin and Senator Sinema and some Republicans in Congress and actually govern the way that we campaigned, which was from the middle as a moderate, as someone that was going to bring the country together. If he pivots to that today, he's going to have a much better year in 2022. I'm willing to bet the farm that he is not going to do that. He's going to double down and go on the attack once again, instead of trying to actually lead and bring the country together and, actually maybe this time crush the virus like he promised the last time, Sean.
Yeah, promised he would shut it down on the campaign trail, and yet we, of course, continue to see cases surge of the Omicron variant here. Rebecca, I also hope that he spends some time behind the podium, considering he hasn't given much time to answer reporters' questions, and he calls on everyone in the room here, and hopefully there's no one telling him that he's going to get in trouble if he calls on more reporters.
Yeah, it's really clear that it's I hate to say it because I do have such ultimate respect for this office and our nation as a patriot, but it is a somewhat of a puppet show, and we have to wonder who is really running the show. And I have to say, Matt, to Matt's credit, they're just not smart enough. They're not going to pivot to the middle. This is an intentional change to appease the very left-wing progressive side of the Democratic Party, and it is not going to change. And therefore, I expect that we are actually seeing the very ending days of Joe Biden's presidency. I believe Article 25 is going to be called for. The only reason we haven't seen it yet, Emma, is because they just don't like Kamala that much more. And I think that's why they're trying to figure out what in the world can they do, because I believe Joe Biden has lost the country.
Well, he's got 3 years left in this term. We'll wait and see if things begin to turn around. Isabel Brown, Rebecca Walser, and Matt Keelan. Thank you, panel. We appreciate it.